Welcome to the SimplyThick live stream. We will begin shortly. Welcome everyone to the Lunch with SimplyThick live stream. This week we are going to be featuring ceviche and summer drinks with Karmen, Kortie and Debra Regan. And without any further ado, here's Karmen.
Hi, I'm glad to be here. I wanted to create this beach scene, so I have this really cool hat. So I have my beach bag too. So you can be on the beach and have altered texture. So I'm going to go over how to make Peruvian style ceviche. So we're going to do level 6, that is soft bite size first. This is on the IDDSI textures that we're rolling out here in the United States. So the first thing we're going to do is show you how you cook the fish using lemon and lime. So I have some fish that I actually cut up. So I'm going to squeeze in lemons and limes. So I have a nice bowl of lemon and limes. So I'm going to squeeze that in, and you want to make sure the lime and lemon juice completely covers the fish. And the fish I'm using today is basa. It's a white fish that you see a lot made out of ceviche, or you could do shrimp. So I'm squeezing that in, and then I'm going to pick out the seeds. There's only one in there. And if you put ice in here, that will help keep your fish cold and keep it firm. So I'm squeezing that in. Now,
so Karmen, those are soft and bite-sized pieces, right?
this
Yep.
one is actually moist minced. I'm just showing you how to do that. I already have the soft bite size made.
I gotcha.
I'm doing this just so you can see how to cook the fish. And what's going to happen, the fish is kind of opaque color. It's going to kind of turn white is what's going to happen as the reaction of the acids cook the fish. I'm going to step out of camera for 1 second because I forgot ice cubes.
So how long does it usually take to have the juice to make it cook to
10 minutes.
about 10 minutes? Okay.
Yeah, you kind of want to stir it around. So you can see I need to add more juice because you want the fish completely covered.
Okay.
Put that in. And then you put salt to taste. So I just put a little bit, and I have a little Himalayan salt is what I'm going to use. That's right here. Pink.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then you're going to let that just kind of stick. And the difference with Peruvian ceviche versus like a Mexican one is they make a sauce called tiger's milk. So I found a recipe for that. So that's kind of an interesting thing what goes in. It's got some vegetables in it. So this is the tiger's milk. This is 4 ounces. So when we're doing these altered texture diets, we need to have like a extremely thick broth or some kind of sauce. So I'm going to use the tiger's milk. I'm actually going to thicken this with SimplyThick, and I'm going to use the bottle and the pump. It's a great thing to have in your kitchen. So to make extremely thick, we need 4 pumps. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to stir. You're going to mix that up, and it takes about 30 seconds. So you can feel it, it's already getting thicker. You can kind of see it's changing texture. So when we do the fish after this is cooked, we're going to fold this extremely thick tiger's milk into the fish. So I'm going to just set that right here for now. So you can see this is starting to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it just needs to go a little bit longer. So I'm going to set that over to the side. So I have already done soft bite size. So I have I have 2 different ways of displaying.
Yeah, 5 minutes left.
So here is soft bite size, already cooked, and the tiger's milk is already mixed in. You can see the pieces are 15 millimeters in size. Here is the IDDSI card that they created for us. See that dark blue one, average thumbnail right there. So you can actually do ceviche for somebody who's on a soft bite size. So here is the meat, the fish, and then I actually have sweet potato, because that's one of the differences with Peruvian. They put sweet potato, they pair it with sweet potato. So I've mixed the sweet potato in before, and you get a bite of sweet and a little bit of the sour, salty flavor from the fish. And I wanted to show you that we can actually do strawberries. So this is strawberries that I cut up to meet that standard, and putting thick liquid. It's a little bit of water in there is what I did, or extremely thick. So that's the strawberry. So that's kind of a nice presentation.
Yeah.
Looks beautiful.
And then I have this really cool margarita glass that I put the soft bite size level 6 ceviche in. So that's another way you can serve it. So you can have the same thing that a regular diet can have. So then we're gonna move to moist minced.
That's 4 minutes left.
So moist minced, here is one on the plate that I did. So you can see this, I put this in a small KitchenAid food processor. So I got it down to 4 millimeters in size. Here's the IDDSI card for the moist mince level 5. You can also use a 4-prong fork. It's in between the tines. So that meets the standard. And then you're gonna put that tiger's milk in here. That is extremely thick. So I use the food processor to break down the sweet potato, and a knife to do the strawberries. So that's one way you can serve that. And then we move into, well, I actually have some sweet potatoes so you can see how you mix this in. So here's the perfect size, and I'm gonna put a couple spoonfuls of extremely thick liquid in it. So that's what I'm doing now. So you want to create a bolus. So when you put this in your mouth, it stays in the center so it doesn't scatter. So that's how you would do that. And then I thought, well, I gotta try puree with ceviche. Guess what? It works. So here is puree, ceviche, sweet potato, and strawberries. And how do you puree?
Wow.
Strawberries I pureed in my my blender, and then I strained it because those seeds could cause somebody to aspirate if they're on a puree diet. So that is strawberry juice thickened. And I also have a margarita glass with all 3 in one glass.
Look at how beautiful that is. Oh my goodness, Karmen. It looks fabulous. I bet it tastes fabulous too.
You take a little bite of everything, what a flavor that will be. The sweet,
Yeah.
sour, and then the strawberry.
Oh, that looks marvelous. Wow.
So the other thing that we would serve with this Peruvian style ceviche is actually plantains. So here is plantains I purchased that are plantain chips, and they are really good. However, they're not on the level 5, any of the level 4 or 5 or 6 diet, because it's crunchy. It has to be soft. So
Right.
that's why now we're going to show you how to make a margarita, because you can have a margarita. So we'll be
Yeah.
over to Debra Regan.
Okay. Well, thank you. That looks so delicious, Karmen. I am so impressed that, especially the strawberries, they're so red and delicious. They look fabulous. So since you cannot have plantains, but you can have a margarita, we are going to do margaritas today. And with SimplyThick, what I did was I have our margarita glass, And you can do any kind of drink with SimplyThick, but I'm using the margarita mix. So if you want a virgin margarita, and then if you want to have a regular margarita, you can add your tequila. So I'm going to just do a virgin margarita to start to make first. Also with SimplyThick, you can freeze. I made ice cubes to put in your margarita. You can freeze the product you would make. We have a recipe for making ice on our website, and you just thicken your water and you freeze it into ice cube trays. And this is level 2. I'm doing level 2 mildly thick. So what you would do to make a margarita is you would measure out 8 ounces of liquid. So you would, if you're going to use alcohol, the tequila, then you would put your tequila in first and then put your mix in. I'm just doing a mix because normally that I do. I don't do it from scratch, and I figured that we're doing what would be what a lot of people do. So for time wise, we're just going to use a mix. Then I am going to thicken it, and we'll do level 2. So we have 8 ounces. So we would do 2 pumps. And then I don't want to lose my footing here. I am going to put it into our shaker, and I'm going to put just a couple ice cubes. I did chill it, but I'm going to put a couple ice cubes in here just to make it really thick. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it into our shaker. And we're going to shake it. There we go. So we're going to shake it. And it's about, when you shake it, it'll take like 10 seconds. You can also stir it with a spoon or a fork to mix it in. But shaking is so much fun because that's what everybody does. And now we are going to take our lime, and I'm going to squeeze the lime around the edge of the glass. And then I'm going to dip it into the salt. So we can have just like at a fancy restaurant. And then we have a salted margarita glass. And I'm going to have it on the rocks since we have these beautiful ice cubes. And then I will pour my drink over the rocks, and we are good to go.
Debra, what texture are these ice cubes? How do they melt?
My ice cubes are also level 2, so that you have level 2. They will melt in their level 2 consistency, and your drink is mixed to 2. So we're all in. Here is your drink, and then we'll pour our margarita into the glass. I'll tell you, it looks pretty good.
Debra, what is level 2, Debra? If people
Pardon?
don't know what does L2 or level 2 mean?
L2 is level 2, and it's what we used to call nectar thick. And then we'll put our little.
And what's the new name?
The new is mildly thick, level 2, and the color for level 2 is hot pink. You can also, we have it in the bottle and the pump. You can see the level 2 here. We also have it in individual packets for 4 ounces of liquid, or you can make a pitcher. You could do a quart of SimplyThick and of the thickener and make a pitcher of margaritas.
So I could have a picture of mildly thick margaritas with my ceviche.
Yes, you could. You can have as much as you want. And you can test this to make sure it's the correct level by using your funnel. And here's our card. They have testing cards to show you how to test for the correct level for IDDSI. And it tells you right on the back. You would go ahead and you would pour a little of, you put to 10 milliliters of liquid, and then you let it drip for 10 seconds. And then whatever is left in the funnel is what level you're at. So that would be how you would test it. But you're ready to go to drink. You just, your ice cubes are going to melt in the right consistency, and you have a beautiful frosty margarita. You could also make any kind of margarita. We have a cranberry margarita recipe on our website. Also, you could mix it up. That's the beauty of SimplyThick, is that you can tailor it to what your tastes are and still be safe. You can make it into a level 1, which is slightly thick. You could make it into a level 3, which is moderately thick. So wherever you're at in your swallowing journey, you could still have a lovely margarita or a lovely drink. And you could also strain it if you decide that you don't want to. You could just mix it with ice, and you don't want the ice cubes in your drink. You could strain it over a strainer. There's just many ways you could make this into an afternoon, evening drink.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I'm ready to have some of your ceviche.
So now it's time for questions, if anybody has questions.
Yeah, I'm taking a sip.
Well, I should take a bite.
It's delicious. Delicious.
I'll take a bite too.
Wait, you're not on camera.
The thing that's so beautiful is that it's like a smoothie consistency. So it just tastes like a smoothie. It's just very delicious. So I highly recommend it.
Well, thank you so much, Debra and Karmen. I now have you both on screen so everybody can see. I'm looking to see if there's any questions out there. If you have any questions for our presenters, please put them in the chat, and we will try to get those questions answered. Debra, first a question for you. How do you make level 2 ice cubes?
You thicken you get your water, you thicken it to the level 2 on whatever package you're using for SimplyThick. So you would use, say, 8 ounces, like I did with my drink, 8 ounces of water. Then you would, if you want level 2, you would put 2 pumps, thicken it, and then you would put it into your ice cube tray and freeze it. And then you're ready to go. You could do it for each of the levels that same, you just follow the directions. So you could use the bottle and pump, you could use the individual packets, you could use the bulk pack, but you just mix it with water and to the level, the consistency it should be, and then you just freeze it.
So the freezing and thawing doesn't hurt it at all?
I'm sorry?
The freezing and thawing doesn't hurt it at all, or doesn't change it?
Doesn't change, but the beauty of SimplyThick is that you can freeze, you can make popsicles, you can make granada, you could do all kinds of ways you can have good hydration in the summer, because summer is hot, and for people with dysphagia, hydration is difficult. And so with SimplyThick, you have so many options, and so you could make it not quite so difficult in the summer, and they just stay so much better hydrated.
So Karmen,
it melts in consistency.
Well, thank you so much, Debra. Now, Karmen,
Okay.
you showed those cards, those little business size cards.
Yes.
Where would somebody get one of those?
Well, we print them off as a sales rep, so we have them available. But you can also go to the IDDSI website, and it's under resources. You can just print them off and cut them. So we provide them as SimplyThick to all my customers when I do in-services.
Excellent. So I know that during the strawberry demonstration, especially at the puree, you talked about concerns with seeds and how to remove them. Can you kind of went over that quickly. Can you just kind of review that?
Yes, I will. I'll actually get my strainer what I used. So I put them in my blender. I have a Blendtec blender, is the one I use at home. So I got juice. So then I poured the kind of, it was a puree almost. I poured it into this strainer and let it drip out. And what was in the bowl is what I thickened. So I threw out the seed part. And I
So
thought,
after you got the juice basically out of there, then you thicken that. So you put in, what was the dose of that?
I thickened that, and I had about 4 ounces of juice from the strawberries I did. So here I thickened, I just added 4 pumps of SimplyThick to that juice. It's right there.
John, can you put Karmen in so she's, looks like she's in the small picture instead of the large picture. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I have her side by side so that everybody
Oh.
can see it.
Oh, good. I just can't. Okay.
Excellent. Well,
So here-
it looks really good.
It does. It looks wonderful. Just
So-
wonderful.
The beauty of fruit right now, you can do watermelon too. So watermelon, I know 5 cups of watermelon purees down to what liquid, and it's 32 ounces if you use 5 cups. Then you can thicken that, and you'll have watermelon is going to look very similar to the strawberry. So cantaloupe, honeydew, all those things will liquefy. So, but you can still give those and eat those things that you're used to.
And how does it taste?
It tastes just like strawberries and just like whatever you're making. Tastes just like. So.
Wow.
You can do all these fruits. Here in California, it's all coming into season. Strawberries are right now, so are blueberries.
And yeah, there should be no reason that purees do not taste what good. They should have a burst of flavor, like, because it's all mixed together. It should just be delicious. The French have been doing purees forever. So
Using SimplyThick has no flavor, so it's not going to change
Right.
the taste of your food.
right.
Anything puree should taste better than the regular texture because we're blending and marrying those flavors together.
Right.
It's actually better.
Right.
So.
Right.
Any other questions?
Well, I just have a personal question because I'm just not used to it. What is tiger's milk?
Tiger's milk is actually what we used in making ceviche, and it's Peruvian style. So tiger's milk is lime juice, lemon juice, white fish stock. So I actually had salmon skin that I boiled and shrimp shells, and I got a fish stock and celery, a red onion, garlic, hot pepper, cilantro, and ginger.
Wow.
That's what goes in this.
So delicious. Oh my
I
goodness.
was thinking this. This is the tiger's milk. So you put it all in the blender. And
Wow.
flavor is really good. I can't wait to try the pureed one with all those flavors mixed together. Mixing the sweet potato in with the fish. It's this nice balance of sweet, sour.
You know, I would never even think to put sweet potato with that. That is such a great idea. Just never would have even crossed my mind.
In the moist mixed one. And just mixing it up. And now I'm gonna take a bite. I can't wait to try it.
Make a good face.
So. and- Okay, I have to make a good face, but I can't smile because my lip doesn't move. It was really good.
Too bad we can't be there in your kitchen with you.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks
good.
delicious, and I have to have another sip.
So Deborah, you skipped thickening the tequila. Is that because it's not going to thicken? Or can you really thicken
no,
tequila?
No, you can thicken alcohol, you can thicken tequila, you can thicken gin, you can thicken wine. You do it just like you would do any liquid. You would measure and then you would thicken it to the level that you are at. So you just do it just like you would do anything else with any other liquid. And it will still stay in the same consistency until you drink it or you don't drink it, or it still stays the same. And the beauty too of SimplyThick is, especially in facilities, whatever you mix it in, that is what the HACCP rule it becomes. So wherever your HACCP rules are for milk or juice, you would use the same HACCP rules, whatever you mix SimplyThick in with. So
Talking about storing it, Deborah, is that what you're talking about?
Well, it's for safety. So 4 hours by the bedside for juice or milk, then it'd be refrigerated for 3 days. So you don't have separate HACCP rules for SimplyThick as you maybe with some other items, because it doesn't have any starch in it, so it doesn't have the sugars. And it has no low carbs, so it's really good for diabetics. And the consistency is great. It's just like a smoothie consistency and there's no taste. So really is a superior product for dysphagia.
So Karmen, you're obviously an accomplished cook. So the question from people might be, is this a very difficult technique to prepare this stuff, or how did you get so good at it?
This is really, I've never made this before. So I found a recipe because we were in Florida and we went to a cooking class on it. So I thought I want to recreate this at home. So I found the recipes for what we did in Florida. So I just went online and typed in Peruvian Ceviche tiger's milk, and here's the recipe for it. And then I have the recipe for Peruvian style fish. So I made this a few months ago and I had a bunch of people here and they all loved it. So I knew I could alter texture this. So I'm really excited that we can actually do this. So here's the puree. So here it goes. Wow. Really good.
This
So now I have to-
is not fair.
Wow. And then I'm going to mix all of them together.
Wow.
So I can appreciate that you had the recipe on how to make the ceviche, but then when you had to process it into levels 6, 5, and 4, soft and bite-sized, minced and moist and pureed, was that difficult to learn how to do?
Actually, I purposely used my little tiny Cuisinart food processor. These are like 40 bucks you can buy at the store. So I just put the whole fish, and I have one piece of the whole basa. I cut it up into smaller pieces, but not really small, threw it in, pulsed it a few times, and it got to the 4 millimeter in size. The chopped one, the soft bite size, I just cut that with a knife. So it doesn't take much at all to process it. And then I just cut up the onions, because red onion goes in it, cilantro and red bell pepper. I just cut that up with a knife. So you can throw it in the food processor if you need to. So this really doesn't take any time.
So now that you've tasted it, which way do you prefer it? Do you prefer it as the puree, the minced and moist, the level 6, or the normal diet?
Put it this way. I'm gonna have a plantain chip with the puree. If that tells you anything.
So you really like how the flavors blended together then?
Yeah. It's the best. I'm gonna have my neighbors over tonight. We're gonna have puree ceviche. And with the banana with it, it's really good. The other thing you can do, if you want that banana flavor for these altered textures when you can't have a chip, you can take bananas, right? And you can actually probably put that on the grill or a saute pan with a little bit of coconut oil, I would do, and heat it up. And now you have that banana flavor, but in a soft texture. It's something you could do.
Okay, well, I'm not seeing any more questions, and we're at about we're almost at 1:30. So I want to thank both of you for taking your time out of your busy days to share with everyone some tips and tricks, and I think it's pretty remarkable to see somebody making ceviche. And I want to remind everybody that if you want to learn some of these techniques or see all of the learning that kind of SimplyThick put together in learning these techniques, we have published them in a cookbook called Modern Dysphagia Cooking. And you can see that on your screen now. There's a QR code there, or you can go to Amazon and just type Modern Dysphagia Cooking and it will come up. So I'll remind everyone that on the first and third Thursdays of the month, we put on Lunch with SimplyThick with a rotating cast of characters and different ideas to show you that really these techniques are fairly simple and easy, and that you can even do fun things like margaritas and ceviche. So once again, Karmen and Debra, thank you. Do you have any last words for our audience?
No. Cheers. Happy
right.
weekend.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.